Yeah, it's Mindset Café, we all got that mindset. Gotta stay focused, never settle for less. It's all in your head, how you think you manifest. So get ready to rise, cause we about to be the best. Gotta switch it up, gotta break the old habits. Get your mind right, turn your dreams into habits. No negative vibes.
What's up, guys? People call it luck, I call it math. Do the reps, bring the attitude, and watch where the odds tilt. Today we're engineering good luck on purpose. Right, welcome back to another episode of the Mindset Cafe podcast. It's your boy Devin, and if you've ever looked at someone and thought, man, they get all the breaks, like they're just lucky, right? This episode is going to deconstruct, but also just reshift your mindset about luck, right? And what's really happening. So we're going to cover a few different points, and hopefully it will allow you to expand your mind and expand your attitude, right? And allow you to actually see the opportunities that are in front of you, right? Because most of the time, opportunities are every day. It's just your mindset and your view of the world and your view of your day that allows you to miss those opportunities. So we're not going to go off of theory. We're not going to go off of, make-believe, hypothetical things. Like, this is practical. This is repeatable. And you can honestly start it today. So you guys already know I'm a big analogy person. And I want you to think as luck is the door, right? The door to your next level, the door to the opportunity that you've been seeking. And your work ethic is essentially the key. That is the key to unlock the door of luck. But to keep that door open, you're going to need those hinges to work, and that's your attitude. Your attitude towards your day, your attitude towards others, and your attitude just to everything. So I want you to think about luck in the sense that it's not a lottery ticket, right? Just like success is not a lottery ticket. You don't just get handed success, get handed, your dream opportunity. It's a visit, and the way you get that visit to luck, and the way you get to be able to go to, get that opportunity essentially is your work ethic. That's how you get the invite, right? And your attitude's going to keep that invite open, because if you have a positive attitude and you have, an attitude people want to be around and so forth, that's how you get referred. That's how you, meet new people and so forth. So I want you to shift your mind from thinking about luck as some random magic that just happens, and if you just keep hoping and praying and wishing that, it's going to increase your odds, because that's not how it works. I'm going to go a little off topic. We've talked about vision boards and we've talked about those things. Like, those are all awesome tools, right? You should have, a vision or a game plan of where you're going. But at the same time, just because the vision is there, just because you've mapped it out in your head or you mapped it out on a board, doesn't mean that the world is going to hand it to you. That's not how it works. You have to take action, and you have to do it whether you feel like it or not. I've said this multiple times. You have to think of your work ethic every single day, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. Your work ethic every single day, showing up when you don't feel like it, showing up when you do feel like it. But either way, you're showing up with a positive attitude. You're showing up with an attitude that other people want to be around, because that's what creates a gravitational pull towards you. Opportunities start coming towards you. People, want to be around you. Success just starts to, happen, right? Because it's your outlook. If you have a positive outlook, then you're going to naturally start to see things from a positive view, and you're going to see the opportunity in each and everything versus what could happen negatively. So many different things can happen negatively, but whatever happens is because you think about it. How many times have you been, actually, hopefully you haven't been doing this a lot, but have you ever been driving, or have you ever, let's say if you, have ever tried snowboarding, and your first time snowboarding, you're like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. And all of a sudden you fall, right? Because you're thinking about falling. So your brain is going to make you do what you're thinking about. But if you're not thinking about falling, then typically you'll go a little bit further. You might still fall, but you're not all of a sudden anticipating the fall and then eventually throwing yourself off balance to fall. And you're like, see, I knew I was going to fall. Right. And that's the outlook we have a lot of times on certain situations. We look for the negative, and then when it does happen, we're like, see, I knew that was going to happen. When in reality, if we weren't thinking about that and we were thinking about the potentials, what if that negative, event happened, or that roadblock came about? Instead of being like, oh, see, I knew it wasn't going to work out, being like, okay, well, this happened. How do we get around this? How do we keep going? Because that's what we talked about in the last episode, right? Your obstacle can be the end point, which it is for a lot of people, or it creates an opportunity for you to find the path that most people don't. And that's why at each level, on whatever journey you're going towards, each level you get to, there's less and less people, right? That's one of the biggest things. Let's say for myself, being an entrepreneur, how many personal trainers say they're going to open a gym? I'm sure you've worked with a personal trainer, a personal trainer. And when they first become a personal trainer, the first thing they say, in the back of their mind, I'm going to own my own gym one day, and so forth. Not very many actually do it. From there, it's like, okay, well, how many people now take that gym and actually expand it? Very few. Each level gets less and less people because the roadblock appears and then they stop there. You have to be willing to look around and see the positive opportunities, whether it works or not. That's just the next obstacle for you to now look for the next path, the next destination, or next, path around, so that you keep moving forward. No path to success is a straight line, right? It's going to be jagged. It's going to twist all up and all over the place. But at the end of the day, as long as you started here and you're ending up here, it's a win. Whether someone else's is here and yours is way spread out, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you both got there. And that's where I think a lot of people start to struggle, is they see someone else, let's say, losing weight, and one person's losing weight a little bit faster, and all of a sudden they start to, critique themselves and like, this isn't working for me, or, I'm doing something wrong. It's like, no, maybe your body is just starting off a little bit slower. Maybe you've been working out for a certain amount of time. Maybe you need to switch up your workouts. Maybe you need to switch up your nutrition more times than not. It's nutrition, right? If it's not working for you, then find the new path that allows you to continue on what you're doing, but sometimes you have to make a little minor tweak. So I want you to think of luck is man-made. There is, obviously you win the lottery and stuff like that. That's, you're more likely to get hit by lightning. But true luck is man-made, right? It is made by your work ethic, how hard you work, if you're truly putting 100% into everything that you're doing, and then it's your attitude every time you show up. I can't tell you how many times when I was a personal trainer, when I had my own personal training company, and I would show up and, man, I would be tired, physically, mentally, just drained. But whether my face looked like it or not, I still showed up with energy. And I remember countless clients like, you look tired. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, let's get it, And my response to them was true. Even though I felt tired, looked tired, whatever, I knew that I was still good to go, and I kept pushing forward. And then they didn't ask me throughout the session if I was still tired. I was like, see, I was showing up. Didn't matter how I looked. Didn't matter how, if I had bags under my eyes or not. They knew I was there and I was present. I've told this story before, but for those of you guys who haven't heard it, I was getting a haircut from my previous barber, and who was a friend, and he was a natural client of mine and everything like that. And I was his last client of the day, right? I would train him, and he would cut me up, and I showed up, and he started off the haircut just going on and on about how tired he was and how it was such a long day and how busy he is and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes just listening. And then finally I was like, I'm not going to sit here and compare who is more tired, right? We both know, like, if we're going hour for hour who worked more, like, I would outdo you, right? But that's not what it's about. Have you ever showed up to one of our training sessions and you tell me, you look tired, and I responded, yeah, I am. So busy right now. And then he sat there for a minute, turned the clippers off and thought about it. And I was like, think about it. And have I ever told you I was tired? And he thought about it. He's like, honestly, no. And I was like, there's a reason for that. The more you tell yourself you're tired, the more tired you get. But also think about this. Every time we trained, you looked forward to coming to see me to train. So why would I make you feel like I didn't want to be there? Because I was tired. I would rather be resting. I would rather be doing something else than being present with you right now. I was like, don't get me wrong. You're telling me all this right now. That's fine. We're boys and all that kind of stuff. But I guarantee if you're telling me this, I guarantee you tell this to other clients. And you will start to lose clients if you continue to do this. I promise. It may not happen the first time, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I guarantee you're going to repeat it again to the same client. It's going to be a kind of a little trend. And then all of a sudden that dude's going to be like, yo, like my barber just doesn't want to cut me up. Right? He's always tired and whatever. And so I told him that. And ever since then, he never told me that he was tired. He's mentioned to me multiple times how that one little message, that one little talk, resonated with them. And his work ethic was good. Don't get me wrong. Like, even when he was tired and telling me how tired he was, like, he still cut good, still did everything good, but it was his attitude, right? And that's what kills a lot of the time is your attitude. You could be the hardest worker and be the best person in your trade or, as a friend. But if every time you show up, your attitude shit, it's not going to last very long. I don't care what the situation is. I promise. But you get to realize that, like, that's why would I refer someone to, let's say, that barber, if I knew we didn't have this talk, and I knew he was going to be, telling each person that I sent him how tired he was and how this and how that. It's like, this is, not for me. Like, honestly, I know a lot of guys love getting haircuts and it's like their spa time. Like, my barbers know that, I want to be in and out. Like, we can talk as we cut, but don't stop cutting to, go on with the whole story. Like, we don't have time for that. But why would I send someone to him that it's their highlight of the day? Like, they love getting cut up every week or every other week. And I'm like, yo, he's really good. And I refer you a client, and all of a sudden that's their experience. Just hearing all this negativity and all that kind of stuff and feeling like you don't want them there. Like, I wouldn't refer anyone to that. So you have to think of that as how opportunity is as well. Why would opportunity seek you out if you're always gloomy, if you're always down, if you're always negative? No opportunity is going to seek that out, except for the negative ones. And then you're going to tell yourself, well, look, I told you it wasn't going to do this, or look, I told you this was going to happen. Well, yeah, no shit. You were looking for that. If you're looking for that, it's going to find you. It's that simple. Yeah, we have good days. Yeah, we have bad days. But at the same time, actually, I'll rephrase that. Every day is a good day. And that's not to sound cheesy. Throughout your day, you have good moments. You have so-so moments. You have moments that aren't so favorable, right? Bad moments. But that one bad moment doesn't make the day a bad day unless you let it. Let's say you get into, this has happened to me before. Let's say you get into a fender bender, you get into a car accident, right? How long does that car accident happen, right? And then there's the paperwork and, taking pictures, all that kind of stuff. 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. Maybe let's say you take your car to, the auto shop or whatever the case. Let's say an hour total. Well, there's still 23 other hours in the day. So why would I let one out of 23 more, right, 24 total, affect me and say this whole day is bad. Like, it doesn't make sense. So you got to think in every bad situation or bad event in the day, there's a lesson to be learned. The car accident, could have left a little bit earlier, not been a rush. Could have made sure I was checking this and that, right? Looking out my side mirrors more. Whatever the case may be, take the lesson, learn so it doesn't happen again. That's how life works. You get knocked down, you get back up, you get knocked down, you get back up. Each time you get back up, you should get back up stronger. You should have learned something. You should have became a better version of you. And so, like, all that is to say, you have to make yourself essentially findable for luck, right? Because your days compound, and that's where opportunity sits. There's maybe not the opportunity that you're looking for in every single day, but at the same time, it might just be tomorrow. It might be in an hour. You don't know. So you show up like it's going to present itself each and every day, each and every moment, because you don't know. No one knows. But if you show up prepared for opportunity to find you, then it will, right? And the compound effect essentially is you have to think that 30 minutes focused a day can add up to 180 plus hours in a year. So let's say you're focusing on a task or focusing on a new skill and you're shit at it today, right? Let's say you're working out, right? First time you've ever worked out in your life. Do a 30-minute workout, whoops your ass. Well, you do it again tomorrow, whoops your ass. Next day, whoops your ass, right? But all of a sudden in a year, you were doing 30-minute workouts daily. Well, you've already worked out for over 180 plus hours in the year. Don't you think by 170, the workout's not going to be as bad? Yeah. If you can do anything for that long, you're going to get better at it. It's inevitable. You learn what doesn't work. You learn how to do it better. You learn how to improve throughout the process. You're not going to start off, a professional. Just not how it works. I don't care what people tell you. I don't care, who's done it, and struck gold on the first go. That's just not how it goes 99.99% of the time. So you have to realize that if you're invisible to luck, to opportunity, then it can't find you, right? And that you're going to stay invisible if your attitude is shit. You didn't get a good weigh-in, reading. Okay. How are you going to improve? Ask for help. Know what self-reflect, see what look back on what you did wrong, right? But don't let that affect the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next 4 weeks. You got to think that, your attitude essentially is a multiplier. It can multiply the good, it can multiply the bad, but at the end of the day, attitude is everything. And actually, I'm not wearing it today. Even one of the shirts that we have at the gym, shout out to RBO because I copied their shirt, but the attitude is everything shirt, right? That is 100% the truth. Attitude is everything. You have to be early, you have to be ready, and you have to be willing to say yes to the right things. But if you don't have an opportunistic mindset and I'm just getting all tongue-tied right now. If you're not looking for opportunity and you're not willing to try and you're not willing to fail and you're not willing to learn, then you're always going to stay where you're at. And you're always going to look at other people like they got lucky. But that's not the case. You have to find the things that are more difficult, that are going to level you up, right? Friction in your path is a good thing. Anytime you have to do something that is outside your comfort zone, outside your norm, that is you growing. Think about working out, right? Let's say you can't do 10 push-ups. All of a sudden, over a year, now you can do 10 push-ups. But just because you can do 10 push-ups when you're doing the 10 now, that's not the work. The work happens once the burn starts happening. Like Muhammad Ali used to say, they asked, how many push-ups can you do? I don't know. I don't start counting until it starts burning. Because that's where the change is. If there's no friction, if there's no resistance, that's your homeostasis. That's your normal. That's something you could already do. You have to push past that to achieve more. So I want you to hopefully look at some of the things that are going throughout your day and realize, are you showing up with 100% effort? Because if not, then you're just wasting your time. If you're just showing up and going through the motions, wasting your time. 100%. If you're going to show up and you're willing to spend your time, the most invaluable thing that you have, if you're willing to spend your time doing something, why not give it 100% of the effort? Or why do it at all? If you show up with that kind of work ethic and a positive attitude, opportunity is going to find you. I can promise you. So I just want you to take that, and today is not going to be a super long one or anything like that. I just want you to realize that you have to make sure that you're self-checking yourself and giving yourself that reality pep talk that I had with my barber, and realize sometimes you have to lie to yourself. And even though you might not feel good, if you're at work or if you're with your family and you're supposed to be present with them, be present with them. My 3-year-old daughter doesn't care if I had a long day at work. She just knows I get home, she wants to play with me. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how stressed I am. It doesn't matter that I had a good or a bad, business meeting. It's playtime. Think about that. How many times do you show up, and someone's looking forward to seeing you, or whether it's at work, whether it's family, your significant other, and you show up and you're not even there? And then sorry to say it was a long day, I just don't feel, I feel out of it. How do you think that makes the other person feel? There's going to be more days like that. And when those days compound, that's where separation starts to sink in. And that's the same separation that's sinking in with your luck or your opportunities. Because you're showing up and saying, sorry, I just don't feel like it today. So hopefully that sinks in a little bit for you. Make sure you guys share this episode with a friend, right? I want you to share this episode with someone that's told you that they're tired, that, that they've had the mindset that we've been talking about where, they always are that person that the woe is me, or that, other people are lucky. I'm just naturally unlucky. Share this episode with them. I challenge you to do that. But I just want to let you guys know you can create your own luck starting today, starting right now. But are you going to? That's the real question. Hopefully you guys do. See you guys on the next one. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you guys need anything, send a DM.
Negative vibes, only positive thoughts. Just in the game of life, mindset causes shots. Got my mind on the prize, I can't be distracted. I stay on my grind, no time to be slacking. I hustle hard, I go against the current, cause I know my mind is rich to be collected.